Lewis Hamilton has finally taken the wheel of Ferrari's SF-25, and the early signs are electrifying. For months, speculation has been at an all-time high. Fans, analysts, and even rival teams have been debating whether this machine could be the game-changer Ferrari desperately needs. Would it be a genuine title contender? Could it finally break the Scuderia's championship drought? And perhaps the biggest question of all, how would Hamilton, after spending over a decade fine-tuning his craft in a Mercedes, adjust to his new prancing horse? Now, after his first shakedown test at Fiorano, we have our first glimpse of what's to come, and let's just say the Formula One landscape in 2025 might look very different. The moment the SF-25 fired up at Ferrari's private Fiorano circuit, all eyes were on it. This wasn't just another routine test, it was the car's first official outing, marking the beginning of a new chapter for the team and its star signing. Though this was only a filming day, limiting both Hamilton and Charles Leclerc to 100 kilometers of running each, the significance of these laps couldn't be overstated. Every turn, every acceleration, every minor adjustment helped Ferrari collect vital data while giving the drivers an early taste of what to expect before heading to Bahrain for pre-season testing. Even within this short session, whispers from the paddock suggest that Hamilton looked right at home, smooth, confident, and already pushing the limits of his new machine. Following Ferrari tradition, it was Charles Leclerc who had the honor of being the first to take the SF-25 out on track. The Monegasque wasted no time, logging around 30 laps as he laid down the first impressions of Ferrari's latest creation. From the get-go, Leclerc could feel a difference. Early reports suggest the SF-25 felt more composed and predictable than its predecessor, the SF-24. That's exactly what Ferrari had been aiming for, after a frustrating 2024 campaign plagued by instability, under-braking, and poor tyre management. By the time he pulled into the pits, Leclerc's expression said it all. A quick wave to the Tifosi watching from the fences confirmed his satisfaction before he stepped aside, making way for the main event. Then came the moment the entire motorsport world had been waiting for. Lewis Hamilton, clad in full Ferrari red, stepping into the SF-25 for the first time. At exactly 12:47 local time, the 7-time world champion fired up the engine, slotted into first gear, and eased out of the Fiorano garage. A roar erupted from the fans lining the circuit, knowing they were witnessing a piece of Formula One history in the making. Hamilton's opening laps were all about getting acquainted with his new machine. Steady, precise, and methodical. He tested the braking zones, gauged the throttle response, and felt out the SF-25's handling. But once he settled in, the 7-time world champion did what he does best. He pushed harder, and the early verdict? Astonishing. Insiders at Ferrari are already buzzing about Hamilton's initial feedback, and the word is that he's been left speechless by how much more refined the SF-25 feels compared to the last few Mercedes machines he wrestled with. If these first impressions are anything to go by, Hamilton may have just stepped into a car capable of reigniting his championship ambitions. Hamilton's early impressions suggest Ferrari's changes are already delivering results. He immediately noticed how much more stable the SF-25 felt under braking, allowing him to carry greater speed into corners, a stark contrast to the unpredictable rear end of his 2023 Mercedes. One of the first things he praised was the improved engine response, with Ferrari reportedly making major upgrades to the power unit. These enhancements have led to smoother acceleration and better energy deployment out of corners, giving Hamilton the confidence to push harder, even through Fiorano's tight turns. The shift to a pull rod front suspension isn't just about tyre performance in qualifying. It's a broader effort to refine ride height control, curb absorption, and aerodynamic efficiency. The new design helps channel airflow from the front wing to the floor more effectively, aided by a cockpit repositioning that moves it 3 to 5 centimeters further back. This adjustment, which aligns with Hamilton's driving preferences, improves weight distribution and streamlines the chassis to enhance airflow management. Additionally, Ferrari's aggressive suspension development has significantly improved mid-corner balance, an area that troubled them throughout 2024. Unlike McLaren's extreme anti-dive suspension geometry, Ferrari has opted for a more measured approach to ensure floor stability under braking. Early images of the SF-25 suggest a noticeable bulge in the chassis near the upper suspension arm attachment, possibly designed to improve camber recovery, helping the outer wheel maintain optimal grip in corners while reducing tyre wear. The fact that Hamilton could immediately sense these refinements speaks volumes about Ferrari's progress. At the rear, Ferrari continues with its ultra-compact pull rod suspension, modifying the gearbox casing to accommodate the cockpit shift while maintaining the FIA-mandated 3,060 600mm wheelbase, while the initial renders keep some details under wraps. The SF-25's revisions indicate Ferrari's clear intent: maximize aerodynamic efficiency and tyre management to close the gap to Red Bull. If Bahrain testing confirms what Hamilton has already felt, Ferrari may finally have the weapon it needs to launch a serious title challenge. Even before the SF-25 hit the track, whispers from inside Ferrari suggested something big was coming. Simulator data had already hinted at a staggering 0.4 second per lap gain over last year's SF-24, a margin that, in Formula One terms, is the difference between fighting for podiums and fighting for championships. Now, with both Hamilton and Leclerc confirming the improvements firsthand, the hype isn't just speculation anymore, it's reality. To put it into perspective, Ferrari wasn't far off the pace at the end of 2024. In Abu Dhabi, Carlos Sainz qualified third, just 0.229 seconds behind Lando Norris. If this latest upgrade truly delivers an extra 0.4 seconds per lap, Ferrari wouldn't have just been competitive, they would have been outright dominant, easily securing pole position. This changes everything. Red Bull, McLaren and Mercedes will be watching closely, and they know Ferrari isn't just making up the numbers anymore. With momentum swinging in their favour, expectations for 2025 have skyrocketed. And for Lewis Hamilton, this might just be the golden opportunity he's been waiting for, the best shot at that elusive 8th world title. But there's one major roadblock standing between Hamilton and Ferrari glory: Charles Leclerc. The battle inside Maranello is about to get fierce. Leclerc has been Ferrari's golden child for years, building the team around him and cementing his status as their long-term hope. He won't be rolling out the red carpet for Hamilton. On the other hand, Hamilton brings a wealth of experience, unmatched racecraft, and a deep understanding of car development, advantages that could tilt the balance in his favour. Ferrari team boss Fred Vasseur has been clear: both drivers will start the season on equal footing. But Formula One isn't a sport where equality lasts forever. If one of them asserts dominance early, Ferrari may have no choice but to throw their weight behind a single driver to maximise their title push. That means the opening rounds of 2025 will be critical, not just for the championship fight, but for determining who truly leads Ferrari's resurgence. But this is only the beginning. The road to the 2025 season is paved with endless variables. Every lap, every tweak to the setup, and every strategic call will shape Ferrari's chances of taking the fight to Red Bull, McLaren and Mercedes. So far, the data from Fiorano and the simulator has painted an encouraging picture, but numbers and limited test runs are one thing. True performance will only be revealed when the SF-25 goes wheel to wheel with its rivals in Bahrain's pre-season testing. That's when we'll see if Ferrari's step forward is big enough to shake up the pecking order. Then there's the internal war brewing within Maranello. Can Hamilton's adaptability, experience and racecraft give him the upper hand early, or will Leclerc's familiarity with the team and his raw speed allow him to hold his ground? The battle between these two isn't just about pride, it could define Ferrari's entire season. After seeing Hamilton's first laps in the SF-25 and hearing the early hype, do you think Ferrari finally has what it takes to dethrone Red Bull in 2025? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, goodbye for now.